would say that I give because my mama told me to. And she was always saying, as we grew up, her refrain was, to whom much is given, much is expected. Yeah, Mom, we know, to whom much is given, much is expected. And it wasn't until I was 18 years old and reading the Gospel of Luke that I realized that Mama didn't make that up. It was Jesus, which was an indication maybe I should have read my Bible a little more carefully up to that point. But by that time, it was ingrained, this habit of feeling like if you've been given time, gifts, resources, you share them with others. And I know you also...
Yeah, my parents, particularly my dad, was a big influence on me growing up in the church. In fact, as you can see in this picture, I grew up at First Richardson, and my dad chaired the building of the sanctuary. This is a picture from back in 1964. My dad's the guy in the middle with the glasses. My parents were both such big influences. The church was a big influence growing up. And one of the things that I love about First Methodist Allen is the way that it relates to all different generations. Making sure that the youth are supported, children are supported, that our seniors are supported, and everyone in between is really important to us.
And I so appreciate the opportunity to sing in the choir. And when I sit up in the choir and look out at everybody's faces, every now and then I have this kind of crazy thought. I think, isn't it amazing that all these people have gathered here in the same room at the same time because they believe that the same crazy story, that God actually came to live among us and lived and taught and gave God's life for us and is still with us. The opportunity to worship and to be with others who share the same outlandish belief, and to sing and participate in the music ministry, and it just warms my heart if I'm out in the hall or somewhere in the church and someone comes up to me and thanks us for our music. And I know that through many ministries, that's only one, people are blessed through our church's ministries.
When you're going to make a gift, you want to give to something that you trust. And I trust this church. I trust the people. I love the Wesleyan theology, which is open-minded. I love that I can sit and have conversations with people who may not have exactly the same beliefs that I do, but that in a divisive world right now that we can get along and we can have those tough conversations. And I think Christ wants us to do that. And I love the fact that it's so engaged beyond its doors. It's engaged in the community. For many, many years now, we've been so involved with ACO and Send Hope and many other ministries that go beyond our doors. And to me, that is really important. From my perspective, Christ calls us to give, and for me personally, and I think for Alyce too, can't think of a better place to do it.
So I was reading one time about how some of the early thinkers in the church saw the church as an ark on stormy waters. And we sure have some stormy waters today. And so I think of our church not as a refuge from the world, but as a place of refreshment and energizing of people so that we can then go out into the world. When I think of the crazy story I mentioned, it seems to me that God has entrusted that story to the church. And by participating in First United Methodist Church of Allen, I feel like we can be the hands and feet of Christ in the world, that God has entrusted us with that mission, and that we do that on behalf of Christ. As he says, in order to save your life, you lose it. So we fulfill ourselves by giving and become our true selves alone and together. And that's why I give.